The Soviet Union, 1924. Lenin is dead. The German neurologist Oskar Vogt receives a letter from Moscow. Vogt is requested to undertake the task of studying Lenin's brain. With the brain of Lenin as its first specimen, Vogt establishes an Institute for Brain Research in Moscow. One of the tasks of the Institute is to assemble the brains of highly gifted individuals in order to establish the biological foundations of intelligence. The vision is a pantheon of the brain, a posthumous home for the foremost geniuses of the young Soviet state. The question, what is intelligence? What molds a human being and his biological heritage, provoked violent discussion among Soviet scientists. In 1928, a film is released in Moscow. What at first appears to be entertainment proves to be part of the struggle over what shapes man. The film is an attack on Mendelism, a declaration that man is not enslaved by his genetic heritage. According to the Mendelists, external factors cannot influence genetic makeup. Only characteristics possessed by parents can be transmitted to their offspring. However, their opponents, the Lamarckists, insist that heritage is molded by external factors, that acquired characteristics are inheritable. Today, we know that the Lamarckists were wrong. The film tells the story of the Austrian biologist Paul Kammerer. His fictional name, Professor Zange. Kammerer is a Lamarckist. Kammerer dedicates his life to establishing the validity of the Lamarckist theory. His experiments set out to prove that acquired characteristics are inheritable. But Kammerer is accused of scientific fraud. Perhaps he is the victim of a conspiracy. Kammerer commits suicide. The Soviet Union wants to turn him into a martyr. In the film, Kammerer, in the guise of Professor Zange, is rescued by a Soviet government minister. This official is not played by just any actor. He is Anatoly Lunacharsky, the cultural minister of the Soviet Union. Lunacharsky plays himself. For safety's sake, he also wrote the screenplay. The movie is an attempt to halt the advance of Mendelism, considered counter-revolutionary by the Kremlin. Mendelism makes us slaves of the past, while Lamarckism makes us captains of the future, stated Paul Kammerer, giving us a glimpse of the matter's ideological dimensions. At the core of this scientific controversy is the vision of the new socialist man. The pioneering spirit of the Russian Revolution also embraces science. The ideals of socialism are bound up with our earthly life, says Russian biologist Nikolai Koltsov. But the dream of a perfect order is also a religious idea for which people will go to their deaths. Eugenics, creating through the efforts of many generations a higher human being, is worth the sacrifice. Eugenics is the religion of the future, and it awaits its profits. Notions of degeneration and decay play a subordinate role in Russia. The ideas of eugenics ride on the crest of the revolution, propelled by the early breakthrough of genetic research in Russia. The future, science, and the arts belong to the pioneers. And while artists of the avant-garde craft symbolic constructions for the society of the future, the pioneers of science will supply that society with a new, more efficient human being. A Petrograd stricken by famine. In the shadow of the Civil War, biologist Yuri Filipchenko launches the first eugenics research project in Russia. Filipchenko is a Mendelist. As a member of a committee aiding intellectuals and artists who have survived the war, he is able to convince prospective participants. Along with the committee's food packet, dried fish, bread, and oil, the participant receives a questionnaire. Information about family members, especially their intellectual and artistic abilities, should be meticulously detailed. Musicality, literary talent, verbal skills. By studying the genetic basis of intelligence, Filipchenko hopes to obtain data for the practical tasks faced by eugenics. Many of Russia's most prominent scientists and artists participate in the study. Physiologist Ivan Pavlov, Alexander Glazunov, composer, Vladimir Bekhterev, neurologist, Alexander Blok, poet,